How's it going, everyone? It's been a while, kind of rusty. I'm back with the chat with Pat. I don't know where I'm supposed. I don't know if I'm looking at myself or if I look at the camera. So sometimes if my eyes are going this way, that way, this way, that way, just so I'm still getting the hang of it. Okay. So today, what we're gonna discuss is Arsenal versus Chelsea. Is the game that's freshest in my mind. I'll talk about United after, but we're gonna focus about Arsenal versus Chelsea today. And wow, what a horrible game of football again. Shout out Arsenal. I feel like I'm saying that a lot whenever I watch them. But the Premier League nowadays has been it's set pieces, right? It's whoever's team is more dangerous on set pieces. They give such an edge to whoever team is having them. And if you're really good at it, my club is really good at it. Arsenal is excellent at it, and Chelsea are pretty decent at it too. The fact that Arsenal is excellent at it, that means that they scored two goals off of corners today. So a couple of things I wanted to talk about for this match that I saw. The one thing that I want to highlight is Liam Rossignol, the coach that people call the PE teacher. I really think that today he came up with a great game plan. He came up with a way in which he would put his best players in the best positions on how they could succeed and also be helpful for their side. So he went with a 4-2-3-1. Reece James had right back. Cole Palmer actually was more on the left than as a right winger, and Enzo Fernandez. But the way in which he set up his team was really unique, at least offensively. Yeah, Caicedo dropping between the center backs, so basically creating a back three, and also being the first. Whenever they lose the ball, he'll be the first to counter press, so push up and then try to win the ball as fast and as aggressively as possible. And I actually think that benefited Caicedo. I think he was really excellent today. I want to emphasize he was amazing today. Like I think that was a great game for him in terms of tackling, in terms of defending, ball retention, and just keeping the ball moving. I think Caicedo was excellent today. And then in terms of the midfield, he tried to put like a midfield three. That basically meant that it had Reece James being the tucking in the middle, Andre Santos being the quote unquote lone six. That means when they have possession. And then Enzo Fernandez more on the left side a bit. I'm not gonna lie, I think that was probably the weaker point of the team. Really, that's really where they struggled in terms of either getting numbers around the key areas or even creating chances. You felt like Reece James was coming more deep, and then Enzo Fernandez and Andre Santos, they were basically non-existent this game. It's as if they were not there. And then the key focus what I personally noticed while watching the game is that the way in which he set up his team was really to test Arsenal's fullbacks. He really wanted to put an emphasis on testing Incapio with Pedro Neto, or sorry, was it Pedro Neto? Pedro Neto. Yeah, it was Pedro Neto. It was Pedro Neto. It was testing in Capio Pedro Neto, and Pedro Neto cannot. Pedro Neto cannot get him on one-on-ones. He cannot beat him one-on-ones. And I think that's where Chelsea really struggled to create clear-cut chances, right? Because I mean, if you can't beat your fullback one-on-one, it's going to be extremely difficult for you to break Arsenal down the middle, which is where they're the strongest. You have Declan Rice that's in there. You have Gabriel Saliba that are there too. So it's going to be extremely difficult for you to go through the middle. You want to go through the sides, and they really struggle to do so. Neto was a non-factor. Cole Palmer was a non-factor. And even Gerald Atto, who on the left side was the most advanced player for some reason, he was a non-factor as well. So even if we look at like the chances or the stats, it's just things like that. The chances that Chelsea created, Chelsea had 7 shots, but only two on targets. So like it just means that they didn't create much, and they had a lot of possession of the ball, and that's at the Emirates. And I'm not gonna allow Arsenal fans to say, "Oh, we allowed them to have possession." No, Chelsea dominated this game, okay, but their lack of individual quality led to the outcome of this game, which was a 2-1 victory for Arsenal. So I really appreciated the tactical aspect of Liam Mousinho. I think he's a good coach, man. I really like him. So I wanna give him points for that. I really liked the way he set up his team. Now let's focus on the players and let's focus on the negatives of what I saw. Number one, number 10 for Chelsea. It's been going on for way too long. He's been going under the radar for way too long. He's been getting away with it for way too long, and we can't allow it anymore. We cannot play the injured card. He is not good. Okay, I want to emphasize that in 2026, actually from the 2025 to 2026 season, so from September of 2025 to when I'm making this video, which is March 1st of 2026, Cole Palmer has not been good. He hasn't even been good for his standards. He's not been good in general, okay? He's a net negative for the way Chelsea plays. In terms of either the chances that he creates, which he doesn't create, the what his strength is the ball carrying ability. He's really good at that. His ball carrying ability and his finishing. Those are his two strengths. And in terms of ball carrying today, he was, I want to say, ball retention. He was really good at it, getting the ball in the half turn, holding off Declan Rice or Zubimendi. But whenever it came to make a final decision, as if it's the first time he's playing with his teammates. It's the first time he plays with Joao Pedro, Neto, all these guys. The final passes were horrible. There's so many instances where either he was expecting a 1-2 or he was expecting someone to make a run or overlap. No, no good. In terms of the shots, I think he had a shot which went super high. It's We're talking about Cole Palmer, okay? He's playing like a regular guy right now. And it's just not good enough. And if Chelsea, as a club, wants to be in the UCL next year again, because I'm assuming that's the objective of every non English club, not named City and Arsenal, we're fighting for the Prem. We're all trying to get into the UCL. If he keeps on playing like this, if your best player keeps on playing like this and he starts every game, they will not make the Champions League, okay? So he has to go back to what he does best, which is carrying the ball and finishing. And I don't know, maybe he's injured because he hasn't been doing both of these two things the whole year, and he's been really, really bad. Second thing as well, the Arsenal midfield, Zubamendi and Declan Rice. Zubamendi, I don't know, Spanish, technical ability, ball progression. Haven't seen it. Okay. If we actually look at his pass chart, there's a lot of sideways and backwards passing. Okay, so I personally believe that this Arsenal transfer window, if they actually don't win the Premier League, because obviously if they win the Premier League, it changes the whole discourse. But if they don't win the Premier League, I really think this is one of the worst, most hyped windows that I've seen. Obviously, Liverpool spent like 450 mil this summer, but Arsenal spent money on Gyökeres, Eze, Zubamendi, and Kapie Madueke. If we're being honest, there's not one of these players except maybe Nkapia that's a really quote unquote game changer, and I don't even think he is. There's no player that has made this team better. There's no signing that they made that's made them better. For Liverpool, you can make the argument that Kirkez and Ekatike are pluses for their team. Isak converts, the jury's still out. But there is no way that you can say that none of these five players have made their squad better as a whole. So, and they were all bad today again. Gyökeres was not good. Eze was not good. Zubamendi was not good. And Nkapie was not good as well. So, it's a curious topic, really. But, yeah, well, I wanted to emphasize on Zubamendi because he's just not, he's not, I don't know. I look at my midfielders, man, you got to be able to turn, pass the ball forward, give me a little dummy here and there. He gets the ball sideways to the CBs. Even when he has a chance to progress the ball, he doesn't do it. And today he had the chance to turn or either pass it to Gabriel. He passes straight back to Raya. And Raya to clear what Joao Pedro was straight on him. So yeah, I'm watching Zubamendi. And then last but not least, wow. If Arsenal win the Premier League like this, man, it's a bad look. I don't know, man. It's just for like a visual perspective from me on the outside. They better get the Premier League this year because they're not gonna be able to get away with the way they play, with the mistakes in terms of transfers that they've made next year. They have to win a trophy this year. From now on, to every video that I make about Arsenal until the end of the year, they have to win a trophy. Just for their sake as a club, just for the mental health of the fans, and just for the sake of their players. Because playing this kind of football at home, to me, you better have a trophy at the end of the year if you play like this, man. If every time you get a corner, your fans stand up as if it's a penalty, it's bad. And only that, if that's the best performance that you could put against a Chelsea team with a new manager and respectfully a lot of players that are not in form, it's it's not good. Okay, so for Arsenal's sake, I hope they win the Premier League because next year, if they don't win the Premier League next year, rebuild, redesign, and reclaim. Actually, I don't even know that I said reclaim, but it's time to switch things up, man. But anyways, that's my analysis for me personally. I think the Chelsea coach coached a great game. I think the Chelsea players let them down, honestly. Let him down, rather. And Robert Sanchez as well, but I don't even have time for all this. But I think the Chelsea players let him down, and I think Arsenal's getting away with it based on the structure that has been put in place already with the center backs and the players that they already had. But that transfer summer, that summer window, man, that did not make them better at all. It just shows that like the quality overall as a league. I think that there's a lot of teams, there's a lot of people that think that like as a whole, the league in total, I think the league in total is a good league. Okay, I think the league in total there's a lot of decent teams, but I think issue is that how can I say this? I think in Europe, every league has probably two or three teams that are really good. Okay, the emphasis on the Premier League is that a lot of teams, first of all, have a lot of bottom team have the budget of a top four team in any country in Europe, so they have more money. But in terms of overall quality, between the top two teams in the Premier League and the rest of the league, there is a big difference. And if we do that with the rest of Europe, if we do the top two teams in most leagues except Serie A, that doesn't count. If we do the top two teams of every league except Serie A, I think that they would also do good in the Premier League. They would do what Arsenal and City is doing to the Premier League too. I think that's how big the discrepancy is, and if that's the football that we're seeing, man, scary hours. But anyways, that's been my pat analysis. It's been a pleasure. I'll see you.